Welcome back to the Georgia Dome. I'm Pam Oliver. Well, soreness and caution are the reasons that Falcons wide receiver Waddy White and Cardinals wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald will miss this game today. White continues to have some soreness in that ankle. Meantime, Larry Fitzgerald told me that he felt like he could play today despite that sore knee. In fact, he indicated that the Cardinals might keep him out for a couple of more games. Kansas City and then the Rams following a short week. They just want to preserve him just a little bit longer. Back to you.
All right, Pam, so two elite receivers not playing today. Falcons won the toss, they receive it, and here is Devin Hester as we're underway in Atlanta. Hester with a good return out to the 25, and so we will see Matt Ryan for the first time in this Falcons offense taking the field. And they've played a lot of these teams the last few years, and it hasn't gone well for Matt Ryan, at least from a statistics standpoint.
No, it hasn't at all. Very uncharacteristic of Matt Ryan's play, but the Arizona Cardinals have certainly had his number. We asked Patrick Peterson about the reason. He said, I don't know, but I hope it continues.
And so the Falcons at 4-7 came into today at first place in that wacky, underachieving NFC South, where the Saints are blowing out the Steelers in Pittsburgh. So it appears they've got to win to keep pace with New Orleans, who they beat week 1. Ryan going to throw it on first down. There's all kinds of time looking for Hester over the middle, but it was defensed well by Gerard Powers, and it's 2nd and 10. Well, I'll tell you one thing we are unlikely to see today is that 100-yard rusher for the Falcons. That is evidence why.
Well, it's kind of one of those things, what gives. Arizona plays the run tremendously. Atlanta struggles to run the football. They're set up to throw the football.
But they run it here to Steven Jackson, who's got a good push on that left side, and he's going to pick up 5 yards, maybe 6, and so we'll call it a 3rd down and 4 coming up for Atlanta.
Kevin, the loss of Roddy White today is extremely critical because Julio Jones and Matt Ryan haven't been in sync of late. Roddy White and Matt Ryan have been in incredible sync. Really, Roddy White playing like the guy we used to see, and it's a big loss. And Devin Hester, Harry Douglas are going to be the guys that have to make up for that loss.
Cardinals showing blitz right up the middle. They back off. Ryan is going to throw it, and he's got a first down. It's Julio Jones making the catch, and he's up to the 44.
Well, Matt Ryan, they show the pressure the Cardinals defense do, and then they back out, and he just slides out into that open space, and Matt Ryan throws a strike, first down for Matt Ryan and the Falcons.
And now Patrick Peterson matched up mano-a-mano against Jones, but they hand off. Jackson, big hole, Steven Jackson rumbling by everyone. Jackson inside the 10, diving just shy of the goal. What were we saying about a 100-yard rusher?
Well, we were saying the Arizona Cardinals play outstanding run defense as they do. But watch the center. James Stone, tremendous job. Get some help from Asamoah. And then the crease right there. And Steven Jackson looking like the guy we used to see in St. Louis, running with authority. Cromartie struggling to get him down.
So a great start for Atlanta, and they've got a 1st and goal from the 1. They go to the eye with Jackson, the tailback. Give it to him. And he's going to be cut down shy of the goal line. Calais Campbell, what a monster game in Seattle with 3 sacks last weekend, was there first.
You know, you watch Steven Jackson, Kevin, and it's interesting. You know, you wonder as they go quick tempo.
Same jumbo package, they fake it. And incomplete. Well, Matt Ryan had Toilolo, and he also had Bear Pasco at the back of the end zone, and he missed them both. 3rd down.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Watch the hard play action, and then watch Bear Pasco back here, wide open. Matt Ryan doesn't see him and then goes out. Errant throw to Toilolo. That's a missed opportunity, and that's what we've seen a lot from this Atlanta offense, which is really uncharacteristic. You can talk about the loss of Tony Gonzalez, but 2 tight ends were open right there. Matt Ryan didn't see one and missed through to another.
Matt Ryan's been outstanding in the red zone all year. Here's Freeman with the pitch. Devontae Freeman reaching. No signal yet. He did not get in. Larry Foote, the veteran, on the stop.
See Larry Foote. Let's watch where this ball is. There's the ball across the end zone, but where does he go down? They rule it short of the line to gain, and it's hard to see anything else.
That's tough. I mean, I don't think that he got in, but they're going to go for it regardless. Boy, this is a real tone setter for this entire game on the first drive. 4th and goal. Fake. Ryan looking. End zone. Cardinals. Touchdown. That's a real statement for the Falcons.
It really is, and this whole thing was set up by that early run by Steven Jackson. Watch Toilolo, the hard play action again. Matt Ryan's going to use all 6'8" of Toilolo, throw it up high, and let his tight end go get it.
And so the Falcons go for it on 4th and goal. They connect. Toilolo with the touchdown. His 2nd of the year. Extra point is up and good. Steven Jackson, know the reason. A 55-yard run, set it all up, and then Ryan connecting with his tight end, and the Falcons with an opening drive touchdown. And they're up 7-zip.
This game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com.
What a drive by the Falcons, and the opening drive, really the elixir that they needed, John. I mean, the way things have been going for them, and the run game, which has been dormant for 2 years, woke up in a big way right after we put up the graphic about Arizona so hard to run against. Now they'll kick it off. And the Cardinals have started on their own 20-yard line as Ginn will take a knee, and we will see Drew Stanton. And this will be interesting today. You know, Stanton 3-2 as a starter this year, making his 6th start this year, but now he's the guy with Carson Palmer out for the year.
He is, and you know, he's responded prior to last week all year long. You see the slump that this offense is in. He comes out against Detroit, 2 touchdowns right in a row, and ever since then they've been in neutral as an offense.
And as you saw, they got 2 touchdowns in the first 2 drives, John, and then dormancy, 1 field goal since, 19 drives. They get Michael Floyd involved early, but he goes absolutely nowhere. Desmond Trufant and Corey Bierman were there.
See Desmond Trufant in motion and then going and attacking it. And there's not been a lot of positives on this Atlanta defense this season, but that guy right there, Desmond Trufant, that's one of them. This guy has become a player in his 2nd year in the league, playing at a very high level.
At least for Floyd, he makes a catch on the first play. He was held without a catch last week in Seattle. Now a blitz. Lowry coming in. Stanton chucks it away. Incomplete. Safety blitz put on by Mike Nolan, and now you're looking at a 3rd and 10.
You're going to see a lot of pressure from Mike Nolan because he has to. They really don't have a great pass rusher up front. Watch Lowry simply come off the corner. The play action, he's unaccounted for. Stanton does all he can just to get rid of it.
And an early test for this Cardinals offense, which was shut down in the loss to Seattle. 204 total yards, and once again playing without their top receiver, Larry Fitzgerald. Just 50% on 3rd down. Blitz coming. Stanton throws behind Jerron Brown, and a 3 and out.
And that's what we saw a lot of last week. The shorter throws inaccurate by Drew Stanton. He's a guy who likes to take the ball downfield, but he's got to show in this league to be effective that you can throw accurately underneath, and he hasn't the last couple of weeks.
And so now it'll be Devin Hester back to return, averaging 12.5 yards per return. That's 8th in the NFL. Drew Butler gets off a good punt. Hester, a lot of room. Hester. Devin Hester breaking free. Devin Hester still going all the way. Touchdown and a flag. 71 yards. Who woke up the Falcons, John?
Personal foul. Nebraska in a face mask. Receiving team number 17. 15-yard penalty. First down.
They're going to call it on Devin Hester, a face mask, something you rarely see. It's on the punter, Drew Butler. You see he has his hand up in his face mask. That will bring the touchdown back for Devin Hester. But what a huge play by the special teams. And there's that hand in the face mask. They don't call it often, but that hand was up in there. Another point of emphasis this year. And they got it.
Now here's the thing. You are allowed with an open hand to go to the face mask and give a stiff arm. But what you can't do is jerk somebody's head, back around and back and forth. Mike Smith out on the field. I think he got a penalty, and he did.
15-yard penalty. It'll be first and 25.
Mike Smith was going nuts. The question I have on that replay by Hester, stiff arm, the hand is open, he did not grab it, and if he didn't twist his head, was it indeed the right call? Let's see. And well, you can see why they called it, I think, John. I mean, it's a tight call, but Butler's head is kind of.
There's the hand, open hand.
It's tough.
Yeah, it really is. And I think you saw Mike Smith giving it to Keith Armstrong. I think Keith Armstrong, the special teams coach, is who they call the unsportsmanlike. But that's something you can't do. You talk about opportunities and missed opportunities. That's why they're 4-7, and they certainly had a couple there.
Well, now instead of a touchdown, the Falcons are all the way back, John, as you said, at the 32. So quite a different turn of events. Jacquizz Rodgers in the game at running back, and he gets it. And he gets 2 on the first down carry. So a couple penalties, a questionable one on Hester at best. And then the coaching staff for Atlanta getting one, and you just can't have that.
You can. And a nice play by the punter, Drew Butler, by getting there and just making something happen, putting up some resistance. You saw him fighting through the block, and he earned a penalty.
How good is Devin Hester? It's just every time he touches the ball. Second and long. Ryan fires. Julio Jones, what a grab. And he's got enough for a first down.
Well, this is what Patrick Peterson wanted. He wanted this matchup. He texted his coach. He told us Todd Bowles last week right after the Seattle game said, I won 11. Well, you think that motivated Julio Jones? Julio Jones has been hearing that all week. And Matt Ryan goes right after Patrick Peterson to Julio Jones.
Falcons out of the gate aggressive and now overcoming that 15-yard penalty. And a 25-yard gain and a first and goal. It's Rodgers, and he's let it go nowhere. Tyrann Mathieu from the safety spot. They know him around these parts from his stardom at LSU.
And what he is, that young man, you can play him at corner, you can play him at nickel, you can play him at strong safety. He's a playmaker. You see him elude Julio Jones, then make the tackle. Just an excellent football player. A pleasure to watch. I don't care where they play him.
Matthew just so active. He was a turnover and touchdown machine in college, and he's been good so far in the NFL. Back from a major injury. They throw it to Harry Douglas. He's inside the 5. Tackled immediately by Larry Foote, but certainly a manageable third and goal.
And I tell you, if you're the Arizona Cardinals, right, holding Atlanta to a field goal would be absolutely huge. A big swing of momentum. Atlanta out to shoot's hot, but if Arizona can hold them to just a field goal, that's a win for Arizona.
Put Devin Hester in the slot this time. 3 wide to the left on a third and goal.
Rocket! Sunday! Let go!
Ryan looking, and it is intercepted. Intercepted by Gerard Powers, who jumped the route and could have taken that one all the way back, but the Falcons were right on it.
Well, Matt Ryan, there's Gerard Powers. He's not even covering Julio Jones. He drops coverage. They have a little combo, he and Patrick Peterson. Fantastic play by Gerard Powers, and the momentum has swung back to the Cardinals.
Today's game is sponsored by Stella Artois. She is a thing of beauty.
We're back, and looking at this replay, I think this is going to be an incomplete pass. Powers, watch the ball. The nose of the ball plops down right there before he ever had it. It was a great play by him, but I think this is going to be reversed, and it will give the Falcons a chance to kick a field goal on 4th down.
After review, the pass is incomplete. The ball hit the ground before the defending player gain possession. It'll be 4th and goal on the 2-yard line. Please set the game clock to 8 minutes, 17 seconds.
All right, that's Terry McCauley, terrific referee today, making the correct call there. So the Falcons get very lucky. It was a whale of a play by Powers on the tomfoolery there to jump in front of Matt Ryan, but the Falcons will get a chance to kick a field goal.
I think you wonder here, Kevin, all right, so was that 4-down territory? If you're the Falcons, do you go for it? But I think this is the wise decision. You put 3 points. Remember, Arizona's offense has been sputtering. And here's the other call, and I'm interested to hear Mike Pereira's take on this one after this play.
That was Devin Hester. It would have been a 71-yard punt return touchdown. They get him for that penalty. Then they had to overcome a penalty from the Falcons bench, which they did to get it down. It's a crazy series of events. Bottom line is, with all that, they could still go up 10-0 to start this game, which you would think they would have signed up from the get-go. Matt Bryant, 20 yards out, and it's up and good. And we got a penalty here. We got a penalty flag on the field. Might have been offsides on the Cardinals.
That's exactly what it is. Now this makes this interesting. You're closer, half the distance to the goal line. Now does Mike Smith send his offense back in?
Why not? He went for it the last time.
Yeah.
He went for it the last time. He's debating. Mike Smith is debating. Look, Steven Jackson's off the bench.
Offside, defense number 26. Half minutes to the goal, 4th down.
And they are going to go. The offense getting their helmets on. They're coming back out of the field. I love it. Why not? You know, haven't been playing that great.
They're still discussing it.
Dirk Cutter, the offensive coordinator, says he wants the points. If I could read lips.
They were back and forth on that sideline. Mike Smith finally. Well, now they declined it.
All right, so there goes that. So they will take the points. We could officially put the 10 on the board. It's 10-0 Falcons here in Atlanta. Crazy.
Who's on first?
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by your next truck, Ford F-150. By Pizza Hut, we're taking pizza where it's never been before. And by Visa Checkout, the easier way to pay online. Visa, everywhere you want to be.
Devin Hester still annoyed at that penalty call where they got him for up and grabbing the face mask there of Drew Butler. Would have been a 71-yard punt return touchdown. A lot of craziness ensued there, but the bottom line is the Falcons do settle for a field goal, and they are up 10-0 in the first, and Ted Ginn wants no part of bringing that out. Let's go to Mike, who is in L.A. Mike Pereira, take us through that penalty and what you saw on the punt return.
I'm not so sure what I saw. Is this game in London or Atlanta? There's been so much stuff that has gone on. But, you know, I don't think this is a face mask on Hester. He gets an open hand to the mask, and I think that's a legal play. I do think it's a hold on 14. That would have been the better call. But to me, not on Hester, and that drew the ire of the special teams coach from Atlanta. So you got a 15-yard face mask and a 15-yard unsportsmanlike. To me, that probably shouldn't have happened.
Just your normal second series of the game, Mike. We appreciate that. Kind of what I was thinking, but Mike, of course, good to have his confirmation there, as Arizona so far 4 plays on offense and they've done zilch.
And Kevin, this has been a big part. You say, why is the Arizona offense all of a sudden hit the skids? And well, they aren't running the football at all. 2 yards a carry the last couple of games. You lose your starting quarterback in Carson Palmer, and you lose your best receiver in Larry Fitzgerald. You add all that up, and you play against some good defenses, you get exposed a little bit.
Arizona's never going to be a run-it-down-your-throat team, but the numbers the last 3 games, as you just saw, are horrendous. Ellington, not much there either. Shembo and Bierman after a 2-yard gain. And, you know, John, I'm interested because, you know, Stanton, when he filled in for Palmer, there was always the feeling that Palmer was going to come back. Then when he tears up his knee, now it's your show. How much do you think does that change things for him?
Well, certainly pressure on him, but I think he's waited for this opportunity for a long time. And I think he's a good quarterback, but he's got to show it here, you know. And this is a defense to get healthy on. This defense has struggled all year long. Not off to a great start again, though.
And a 3rd and 8. Blitz coming, picked up, going for Floyd. He's got it. First down, but hang on, there's a penalty. That's thrown to the 29-yard line. Let's see what this is all about. As Floyd, who was held without a catch, has 2 in the early going here. And that one would be for the first down for Arizona.
Holding defense number 26. Penalties decline. First down.
And Kevin, you know, I'm seeing something. You asked Drew Stanton, I thought a really good question the other day, is Michael Floyd a guy that you need to feed early to get him back involved in this offense? And I think that's what they're doing. We've seen a couple of short throws to Michael Floyd to get him off the schneid. He's been struggling of late. Larry's out. You have to have him a big part of your offense.
He's had 2 games where he's gone without a catch, and he's just too much of a playmaker to have that happen. So 2 catches already. Fake the run. Stanton going to throw over the middle. High, intercepted. It's Lowry who's got it. Looking for a block. Lowry inside the 35. And the Falcons could not have scripted a better start. Second interception of the year for Kyle Lowry as Stanton was way high with the throw.
And as long as football's been played, high balls across the middle usually turn into interceptions. You can make a case that Jerron Brown needs to catch this. That's a poorly thrown football. It results in a tip, and Dwight Lowry says thank you very much. Probably should have been caught, but the inaccuracy, you've got to hit him in stride and allow him to run. Drew Stanton struggling. And so Stanton in a little bit of a funk here, as is this Arizona offense. Last 21 drives, they've managed just a field goal.
Sunday.
And now the Falcons started off on the Arizona 32 with Steven Jackson, and he has nowhere to go. Jackson, of course, had a 55-yard run on the opening drive. That was his longest run since 2009. 4 carries to Jackson for 60 yards in the early going.
Sunday.
Got that matchup, Julio Jones and Patrick Peterson, top of your screen. Ryan looking that way. Going deep for Jones. He makes the catch, and he is in! Touchdown!
Well, be careful what you wish for, Patrick Peterson, because Julio Jones, as I said earlier, he's been hearing the talk. And Patrick Peterson, I love it. You want the best player. But he does a couple of things. He doesn't get his hands on him at the line of scrimmage. That allows a great athlete like Julio Jones to have the space. Matt Ryan back shoulders him. Patrick Peterson wanted the matchup, and he's getting it. And Julio Jones is winning that matchup thus far.
It's a 30-yard hookup to Julio Jones, who had gone 7 weeks without a touchdown before scoring last week. And, you know, these Falcons, John, they like to take their shots. They took 5 shots on go routes last week and weren't really close on any of them. And Dirk Cutter, the offensive coordinator, said, listen, we're going to take shots, but if we take 5, we've got to hit 3 of them. They're reviewing this right now to see if he got in, so we'll take a quick break.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
See that left knee never comes down. He hits the pylon with the ball. That's a touchdown. Certainly not enough to overturn that. Julio Jones making the most of those one-on-one opportunities thus far.
And a 30-yard strike to Julio Jones. Greg Bradley, heads lineman, right on that call, right down there, getting down to make that well done. And it's up and good. It's 17-0 Atlanta with 5:48 to go in the first quarter. Well, here are these Falcons, John. They're 4-7, and as Mike Smith said, I'm not going to apologize for being in first place. They're playing like a first-place team.
Yeah, as well he shouldn't. He shouldn't apologize. He should apologize for maybe the play that got them to 4-7, but try to improve it, and they are. And what I find interesting, they're kind of Arizona Cardinaling the Arizona Cardinals, taking shots downfield. Everything we've seen from Arizona early in the year. Arizona needs to wake up out of this slumber that they're in offensively. Drew Stanton, you know, Bruce Arians, we asked him after last week what his message to Drew Stanton was. He said, play smart, not scared. He's not playing smart. He's just inaccurate with throws. And when you're inaccurate in this league, interceptions are going to happen.
I want to go back to the point we were saying before we went to break on review. You know, Dirk Cutter, the offensive coordinator for Atlanta, was talking about taking shots deep. Said they ran 5 go routes, and they were 0 for 5 last week. He said, if we run 5, we've got to hit 3 of them. And you see right off the bat they're going for it.
Yeah, and it's something different. Usually Matt Ryan, an incredibly accurate thrower of the football down the field. He hasn't been of late. He and Julio have been out of sync. They obviously worked hard on it, and it's paying dividends.
Ryan to kick it off. Ted Ginn Thinking about taking it out, and he will. In, slides down to the 18. Well, we talked about the matchup. Patrick Peterson speaking out, saying he wanted Julio Jones. This goes back to college. There was a rivalry there. Obviously, LSU and Alabama, they faced each other. They have faced each other a couple times. They did not face each other last year because Jones was hurt in the matchup in Arizona, and here it is today.
And there's the deal. My old coach, Herm Edwards, it's a line I use often. There's two kinds of bump coverage in this league. Bump and run, that's when you're using your hands, the bump part, and then run and pray. And you can't play run and pray against Julio Jones, because those prayers won't be answered.
So Arizona looking to respond down 17. Stanton, almost a good catch by Floyd, but he can't hang on.
And again, not the most accurate of throws. He's open, Michael Floyd is. And an incredible finish by Trufant. This young man has been playing excellent football, gets his hand on the ball and strips it out.
John, Arizona doesn't really have the offense to be down 17-0. I mean, this is not a good spot for them, not for anybody, but they've got big playability, but they've got some work to do. Second down, it's Ellington, and we get a flag. That one might be coming on back after a gain of only 2. Paul Werlow gliding over to make the play.
Holding, defense number 91. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Check that. It's on Corey Peters, who is getting the start today. He plays anyway, but Paul Soliai, their starting nose tackle, not with the team today. Send him our wishes. He had a death in the family.
There's Corey Peters right there in the middle. Jonathan Cooper in at the left guard, and you see that hold clear as day. Interesting that Jonathan Cooper's getting some playing time. They played him at tight end last week, and he played very well. And they've inserted him at that left guard position in place of Ted Larson.
Give it to Ellington. Yeah, his nice little hole here up the middle, and a good gainer. Out to the 32 is Ellington, so he picks up 7.
And Kevin, with all the things we've talked about, this is a guy they have to get going. He's got special ability. He's a fun guy to watch. Explosive in the run game, in the pass game, except he hasn't been explosive in the run game of late. Struggles up front blocking, and then he hasn't been running through tackles. He hurt his foot early in the air, and I think it's affected him in a big-time way. He's been practicing of late. They think he's closer to getting healthy, but they need him to emerge.
2nd and 3. Ellington trying to stretch it out, and there's just nowhere to go. Werlow and a couple of other Falcons there. Trufant as well, as was Croy Bierman. Well, to augment that running game, you know, they lost Jonathan Dwyer earlier in the year, who was arrested on domestic violence. He's done. And this week, looking for that additional back, they brought in Michael Bush, you know, the former Raider, the former Bear, but he's not in playing shape yet.
No, he's not, and he's not in football shape. And Bruce Arian wants him in there because a guy like Andre Ellington, you want him to be a complimentary. He's better when he got a banger, and then you put him in, and there's that difference in the styles.
3rd down and 2. Four-man rush, and tipped at the line, intercepted, incomplete, excuse me. So the Atlanta D up to the task as well early on. Falcons doing their job, and they'll get the ball back to Devin Hester. It was Babineau, by the way, who got his mitts on that last pass.
Jonathan Babineau gets his hands up, and Drew Stanton, the struggles continue for this Arizona offense.
Drew Butler gets off a good punt. Hester going to let it bounce. It takes a bounce inside the 5, and it goes. We go into the end zone waiting for the call. Yes, it did. It'll be a touchback. 67-yard punt, but it'll come on out to the 20. Cardinals dejected after their start. They find themselves down 17-0 here in the first. It has not been a good start for the Cardinals in any way. And offensively, they're still in funk. I mean, they came in 19 possessions and just a field goal. They hadn't scored since the first 2 possessions against Detroit. And still nothing. And all of a sudden, down 17-0. Falcons started off. And they're going to hand off here to Freeman for no gain.
And Kevin, you take a look at that last pass. They're fortunate. Watch William Moore right here, and you see Drew Stanton locking in on John Carlson, his tight end. I think they're fortunate the ball's tipped because I think William Moore picks this ball. Drew Stanton is phased right now. He got punched in the mouth, as I said, at Seattle by a great defense, and it's playing tricks with his minds. He's not throwing the ball accurately. He's not seeing things. They've got to get him comfortable.
And the Falcons have had big plays all around. Big run, they've had a big catch, they've had an interception, and a big punt return. Ryan to throw has time to Harry Douglas for a first down. Harry Douglas is out to the 34. He's going to pick up 14. And, you know, about this Falcons offense, you know, we know the weapons they have, but they look pretty crisp so far today.
They really do. And without Roddy White, who's been playing at such a high level, but Matt Ryan's a competitor. He hasn't been as sharp as he wanted the last couple of weeks, and it's showing. He's very sharp today.
Fake it to Freeman, coming near side to Harry Douglas. Makes a nice move, diving out to the 40. It's a gain of 6. Well, you know, this Falcon offense, they come in 12th in the league in scoring, but we were here for the first week, and they were just lights out. It looked like they were going to have a historic year offensively. And they've been just a little bit off here and there. And Matt Ryan said, you know, we've played really well at certain times, not as consistent. It's time to play like we can. Here's Weems who gets clotheslined. And he's going to be shy of the first down. It'll be a 3rd and 1 for Marty on the coverage.
You know, Kevin, I think Todd Bowles hit maybe some of the inconsistencies. You have so many weapons, that's a good thing. It's also sometimes a bad thing. As Todd Bowles says, you have all these weapons, you only have one football.
Yeah.
And Matt Ryan may be struggling trying to feed all these guys who want the ball so often in Hester, Julio Jones, Roddy White.
3rd and 1. They fake to Jackson. Blitz coming, but wide open is Hester. First down and more for Devin Hester. Everything the Falcons are calling is working beautifully.
Well, this is beautiful design, and you're going to watch him go across the formation. This is called a swap boot. And then look at the touch by Matt Ryan over Matthew. Outstanding execution, outstanding design by Dirk Cutter and his offensive staff.
They had Matthew on the blitz, but Ryan played it well, and now a first down. They're at the 47. Final minute, 5 seconds of the first quarter. Hand off to Jackson. Ryan left, and that guy closes up in a hurry as Dale Buchanan came on. And let's check in with Pam.
Well, Kevin, Cardinals D-line coach Brinson Buckner gave that group a good chewing out a couple of series ago. He saw some body language he didn't like, and Buckner let them have it, directing a lot of his ire against Calais Campbell. Buckner said, hey, get your heads up. The next player who fails to do his job will come over and take the bench.
Wow. Here's Julio Jones, and right now he's eating up Patrick Peterson.
He really is. And Julio stayed quiet this week. Patrick Peterson was public. He wanted the matchup. You see the matchup up here. And again, Patrick Peterson, you're going to have to get those hands on him. That's what gives Julio Jones trouble, is getting your hands on him. He's allowing the free release, opening the gate, and Julio Jones is saying, you do that, I'll eat you up, and he is.
Matched up against each other 18 times today, and Jones has 82 yards and a touchdown already, making a statement. And so are the Falcons, 17-0, leading the Cardinals after 1. Can't be more dominant as far as everything, really. 183-22 in total yards for the Falcons, and driving again as we start the second quarter, surprising, up 17-0 on the Cardinals, the team with the best record in the league.
Silver Presto! Silver Presto! Silver Presto! Silver Presto! Let go!
Here's Ryan. Looks right over the middle. Jacques Rogers has a catch. Nice spin. And he's down inside the 25-yard line. Going to pick up 5 for Buchanan. Made the stop.
Peyton Manning has Omaha. Matt Ryan's got Fresno. So want to take care of that West Coast as well. This audio, that annoys these quarterbacks because the audio is so good these days.
It is good stuff. Got our Jeff Cohen running the show in the truck. 2nd and 5.
Sunday! Let go!
4-man rush, stepping up, intercepted. It's intercepted by Rashad Johnson, and he's got room to run. Johnson at the 45, cuts back, Look at Rashad Johnson. He could go. All the way. Touchdown. 88 yards for Rashad Johnson.
Arizona sorely needed their defense in such a big way, needed their defense to step up and make a big play. And Rashad Johnson, you watch Matt Ryan's eyes locking on Julio Jones. He's been winning that matchup, but he went to the well one too many times. You're going to see Rashad Johnson undercut his former Alabama teammate and take it the distance.
Rashad Johnson is having a career year. That's his 4th interception, and that one goes back to the house from 88 yards. You want to talk about a change of momentum. It's on the verge of being 24-0, and now it's 17-7. If the Cardinals ever needed a play, that was it. That was enormous for Johnson. 88-yard interception return.
Okay, we talked about that matchup. Watch Rashad Johnson. There he is. He's just reading those eyes, undercuts him. Matt Ryan's looking at Patrick Peterson, never sees Rashad Johnson. And Rashad Johnson, what a run. Not only a great interception, but then the run to get to the end zone, exactly what his team needed. The defense has been the bell cow for this team all year, and another huge play.
Matt Ryan will throw some occasional picks, John. I mean, not a ton, but he will. For some reason, this team has had his number. I mean, coming into today, last 2 games he's faced, he threw 9 interceptions. There's the record. Now, they did win one of those games, and he threw for 300 yards both those games. But now 10 picks in the last 2.5 games.
Well, I'll tell you, Todd Bowles and this defense give a lot of quarterbacks a lot of problems, and they are so multiple but yet so sound. And Todd Bowles, it won't be long. Arizona's doing everything they can to keep him with contract extensions and locking him up. But that man will be a head coach soon enough because he is a tremendous coach.
Devin Hester back to return it as the Cardinals have some new life. Catanzaro kicks it off. Returnable if Hester wants it, and he will. Looking for something out across the 20 to the 22. Doesn't get any bigger than this. This week, 4 of the nation's top teams face a must-win game to keep their championship hopes alive. The road to the college football playoffs goes through the Pac-12 championship and Big Ten championship Friday and Saturday. It's only on Fox and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Tough break for J.T. Barrett, who got hurt for Ohio State, the tremendous quarterback yesterday. Roddy White out for Atlanta. He had been an Ironman until he had hamstring and ankle injuries last year and was playing so well, John, as you pointed out, and now out today.
17 receptions in the last 2 weeks for Roddy White. He's been on fire.
You heard the Pam report about Calais Campbell getting chewed out, so now he's back in the game, number 93. In a 17-7 game, this thing looks totally different. As Steven Jackson up the gut for a gain of 3.5.
You know, and I think Dirk Cutter, look, Steven Jackson isn't the same guy that was in St. Louis. He's carried the ball so much. They wore him out in St. Louis. He was on a bad team. They'd run it to him. They'd throw it to him more than anybody in this league. And so he's not the same guy in his 11th year. But I'll tell you one thing, Kevin, he looks pretty good today. And I would continue to use him in this game.
He's got 6 carries for 66 yards. Of course, one of those a 55-yard run. Ryan going to throw it in the flat to Toilolo. The tight end tackled immediately by Patrick Peterson. So a 3rd down and 3 is coming up. NFC South, well, you know it. It's been documented during the week enough. This division is all underachieving. But the Saints woke up in a big way. They were blowing out the Steelers and somehow only won by 3. I'm not sure what happened at the end of the game because we were on the air. But nonetheless, a big win in Pittsburgh. But the Falcons beat the Saints already with a game in hand coming, a huge game, which will be Week 16. So if they win today, they are technically the first-place team. pitch out. Devontae Freeman gets around the edge. First down. And then some. Devontae Freeman with a heck of a run. He's out to the 47, and it's a 19-yard gain.
Well, Devontae Freeman, this is a guy that Dirk Cutter, the offensive coordinator, Mike Smith, the head coach, they like him, and they want to get him more involved, and you can see why. He brings juice to this offense. Jake Matthews doing a tremendous job clearing the holes, and then you see that burst that Devontae Freeman brings to this offense. Nice job running the football against a tough defense to run it against in the Cardinals.
So the Falcons convert on first down. They'll give it to Freeman again, this time testing the right side, and a successful test. He's down to the 46, so he's got a 7-yard gain, and the Falcons a little stick-to-itiveness to the run here today.
Yeah, and it's a good thing. And, you know, Matt Ryan talked about the importance of running the football against the Cardinals, and he said, we're going to have to be creative in the way we run it. And what I'm seeing, they're running it outside. They aren't just going right at Calais Campbell and Dan Williams. They're taking it to the perimeter and doing a great job.
Freeman staying in, getting it again, and puts the head down. Heck of a collision.
Because that's what happens when you run right at the teeth of this defense. Larry Foote meets you. This is how you play linebacker in this league. Looks like he has something. Not so fast. Here comes Calais Campbell. Here comes Larry Foote.
They bring Jackson back in for a 3rd down and 2. Fake it to him. Looking for Hester again. Bad throw behind Hester. Give credit because Johnson was right out there with him. Not sure even if the throw was good if he would have picked it up. And the Arizona defense holds.
That's the same play we saw earlier. And I think a good throw is a 1st down. Hester kind of, I think his angle, he was coming backwards as opposed to just going to the flat. And I think that route that he took messed Matt Ryan up.
Ted Ginn back to return this punt. He had a 71-yard punt return for a touchdown against the Giants earlier this year. Bosher inside the 5. Look at the bounce. Fortuitous indeed, as the Falcons will down it at the 5, and so Arizona will take over on their own 5. But the Cardinals, who were lifeless, the interception return for a touchdown has given them new life, still trailing by 10.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Chevrolet. Find new roads. By Citizen Echo Drive, powered by light. Any light never needs a battery. Citizen. And by T-Mobile, changing the game of wireless.
Downtown Atlanta in the Dome, Georgia Dome, as their Falcons got off to a rousing start, but an 88-yard interception returned by Rashad Johnson. The Cardinals have life here, backed up on their own 5. They're going to fake the run. Stanton has time coming near side, and he's got a completion to his tight end, Carlson. Good time for Stanton to throw that ball, and he's out. Going to mark it right at the 31-yard line.
Well, watch John Carlson right here, and you see, Kevin, I just telling you right before at the break, they got to start playing like the Cardinals, and that's taking shots down the field and loosening defenses up, and they do it. Bruce Arians feels that, and I think that's the perfect thing to do. If he's struggling throwing you underneath stuff, throw what he does well, and that's down the field. He does it exceptionally well.
So a little breathing room. It's Michael Floyd in motion. Again, the Cardinals without Larry Fitzgerald today. Second missed game with that sprained knee. Blitz coming, tipped away, or is it a fumble? And it's out of bounds anyway, incomplete. As the Falcons brought the house, Dwight Lowry, who has an interception today, got there.
Well, they show one of these exotic looks that Mike Nolan likes so much. And you see the empty hand coming, excuse me, the hand of Drew Stanton coming forward. Terry McCauley on it, calls it the incomplete pass.
This is Andre Ellington, hurt for the Cardinals. We'll take a break.
Here's Andre Ellington, and watch him coming across the formation to block William Moore. Looks like he takes a knee to the side, and he's down, and that's a huge loss for the Arizona Cardinals.
And so Marion Grice, the rookie free agent from Arizona State, number 23 in at running back. Ellington did walk off under his own power. We get a report on him when we have it. 2nd and 10. Stanton to throw over the middle. He's got Floyd. First down. Michael Floyd still going across midfield and down to the 47-yard line. So a 22-yard gain of Michael Floyd, who's been involved early, his third catch.
And they need to keep feeding him. When he's playing against Robert McClain, you talk about matchups, that's a matchup that favors the Arizona Cardinals, and you need to feed that. And I think Bruce Arians would be wise to continue to open up this offense. They're struggling. They've lost Ellington. We'll feed Michael Floyd and make him a part of this offense again.
Here's Grice, right side. And Prince Shembo met him after a gain of 2.
You know, Kevin, we saw Andre Ellington, and when people bring all-out blitzes like the Atlanta Falcons do, oftentimes they do it against the Arizona Cardinals because they don't want to cover Andre Ellington. So a great way to keep him in is you bring everyone and make him a pass blocker, something he doesn't want to do, they don't want. And it's a wise scheme by Mike Nolan to keep Ellington, who's such a mismatch in the pass game, in the backfield.
They were doing something with his knee there. It didn't look like your normal concussion protocol. Fake on second down. Great catch by Floyd over the middle. Now he fumbles, and it's picked up by Trufant. Falcons have it. Trufant looking for room, taken down at the 40. William Moore playing back today for the first time in 7 games, returning from a shoulder injury or a clavicle injury. Forces it. Falcons recover. Here it is. Floyd made a great catch, but then the ball stripped away. Falcons football up 10.
Today's game is sponsored by K Jewelers. Every kiss begins with K.
Well, Michael Floyd, as the Falcons, or I should say as the Cardinals, were starting to maybe get in a little bit of rhythm, and he makes a great catch and then stripped by William Moore, and the Falcons recover. So Atlanta football up 10, 8:52 to go in the first half. Ryan in trouble. There's a flag on the play and an incompletion. As the Cardinals brought some pressure, Steven Jackson tried to help pick up the blitz.
Holding, offense number 39, 10-yard penalty, first down.
And he picked it up by holding. Let's go down the sideline with Pam Oliver.
Kevin, Cardinal running back Andre Ellington, well, he limped badly in the direction of the X-ray room. He has suffered a knee to the hip. Meantime, safety Tyrann Mathieu, he has what they say is a thumb injury, and his return is questionable. Back to you.
Okay. Thank you, Pam. So we'll keep an eye on those two. Mathieu involved in a heavy rotation on this defense. Jackson. Nowhere to go. Absolutely nowhere. Swarming D by the Cardinals.
And Kevin, I think you in this stadium, you can see it. That Rashad Johnson interception return, that pumps some life into this Arizona Cardinals. They're starting to look like the Arizona Cardinals prior to going to Seattle. They're starting to call plays. Bruce Arians opening up on offense. Todd Bowles starting to bring the heat. And I think that's exactly what they need to do. You can't change your stripes. They got here being aggressive, and they've got to continue that.
36, ready.
Look from behind Bruce Arians. Falcons have a 2nd and 22. Ryan, pressure coming, and Matt Ryan still on his feet, not anymore. He goes down. The Cardinals getting pressure now. Alex Ogletree and Lorenzo Alexander there to bring him down.
Well, Okafor off this edge and Lorenzo Alexander off this edge, and they say, let's meet at the quarterback, and that's exactly what they do. Just great bull rushes by those two guys, and Lorenzo Alexander brings them down.
And so this Cardinals defense, which got shredded in the first quarter, now kind of cementing themselves into their rhythm. 3rd and 25 for Atlanta. Ryan has time, firing deep. Douglas has a good catch, but he's nowhere near a first down. He's up across the 40 to about the 44, but still going to be about 6.5 yards shy of a first after a 19-yard gain. And so Michael Floyd is a happy guy because his turnover doesn't result in anything. It feels like the game is equalized a little bit now.
You've seen 2 big stops from Arizona Cardinals. Rashad Johnson's interception, now the big 3 and out. To get that offense the ball back, and as you said, Kevin, they started to establish a little rhythm prior to that turnover, so interesting to see how they respond.
Towards the last time Ginn, who had that 71-yard touchdown against the Giants. This one well over his head into the end zone, and so the Cardinals will start on their own 20. Bruce Arians going to say, go get him, Drew Stanton. You got a 10-point deficit to deal with. Tonight, guess who's back in the Brooklyn Nine-Nine? It's Eva Longoria. She's about to heat things up on an all-new episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine Sunday after The Simpsons on Fox. Director Artie Kempner's favorite show. And speaking of that, happy birthday to our tremendous producer, Pete Macheska. Petey, you're the best. Here we go. 1st and 10, Arizona down 10. 6:38 to go in the half. Without Ellington now, Stanton's going to throw it, and he's got Floyd again out at the 40. 20-yard gain. That's actually Ginn, not Floyd, excuse me. So Ted Ginn making his first catch of the game. It was 19, not 15.
You can see Stanton, he's feeling comfortable now. He's got some throws under his belt, some completions. He's starting to feel comfortable, and that's a good thing for the Arizona Cardinals, who have managed, despite the domination by Atlanta thus far, to stay in this game.
So without Andre Ellington, as Pam said, went back with a knee to the hip. Marion Grice, the rookie, is in there. He'll get the ball, and Grice has nowhere to run. So Drew Stanton, it is his show now. I mean, this is with Carson Palmer out for the year. You know, we've told you the story that Bruce Arians brought him in here initially to be the starter for they traded for Carson Palmer. Go back to the 2007 draft. And Brady Quinn works for us. The other guys aren't in the league anymore. And Stanton, you know, his 8th year, but doesn't have a lot of experience, John. He's getting it now. Be a 2nd and 9. Pressure coming. Screen to Grice. Has blocking. Good cut. 1st down. And Marion Grice inside the 45. Good patient running at a 15-yard gain on the screen.
And you know what I like about Stanton, Kevin? We've talked with him the last couple of weeks. The guy's a survivor. You know, a lot of bad things happen. He goes to Indy, they draft Andrew Luck. He goes to Detroit prior to that, and they take Matthew Stafford #1. So everywhere he's been played second fiddle, but he kept playing, he kept studying, he kept working, and he's made the most of his opportunities this season.
From the Atlanta 45, the fake it to Grice. Coming near side, he's got wide open. It's Ginn again. So Ted Ginn getting involved in the offense. And he's down to the 23. He's got a 22-yard pickup.
Ted Ginn, the one thing he has is lightning speed, and Desmond Trufant is paying respect to that. And you see the stem of the route. Trufant's thinking an inside breaking route. He breaks it out. Nice route by Ted Ginn. And they could use his presence with Larry Fitzgerald on the sideline.
Well, Trufant out of the game. He's their best corner, maybe their best defensive player. And a 1st down for Arizona. Their offense is starting to click now. They had 22 yards in the 1st quarter, 122 in this quarter. Give to Grice, but there is a penalty flag. That one might be coming back.
Holding, offense number 62. 10-yard penalty. 1st down.
It's Ted Larson, the left guard, who had just come back in. They had been playing Jonathan Cooper at left guard.
You see Larson right there. You see that fistful of jersey he has on Babineau. The official's right on it. Looks like he and Cooper now alternating a little bit, but to me right now, you've got to pounce on this opportunity. Trufant's out. Remember, their other starting corner, Alford, already out prior to this game with a broken wrist. You got to go after these corners.
John Brown, top of your screen, has been so good this year. Doesn't have a catch yet today. The rookie from Pittsburgh State. Matched up against McLean. They're going to fake it. Stanton. Pressure coming. Looks to run. He pumps. He will run. And he gets to the 25. So he picks up some of the yards lost due to the penalty.
They were looking to take that shot we were talking about, going after those corners. Nothing there. And Stanton uses that athleticism. There's Jerron Brown coming across the field. Drew Stanton doesn't see him. It looks like a couple of open guys, but Stanton gets positive yards on the ground.
He was being flushed at the time from the pocket. And now 2nd down and 13. But Stephon Taylor, the running back, lined up as a wideout at the bottom of your screen, number 30. In this formation, Stanton looking the other way now and going intercepted. Did he get it? No. Incomplete. He looked the whole way right at Robert McClain, but he couldn't corral it. 3rd and long.
You see this? This is a glance route. It's a timing route. Stanton's going to lock on. And he's thinking Michael Floyd's going inside. Michael Floyd does not. Should have been an interception for the Atlanta Falcons.
Got to catch that. And so the Cardinals in field goal range have a 3rd and 13. Pressure coming. Stanton in trouble. Gets it off. Incomplete. He had time initially, but Stanley Mapunga, Jonathan Babineau came on into pressure. A couple guys are down hurt. I think Mapunga for Atlanta, who got the pressure, and also Paul Fanaika, who's the right guard, number 74, down for the Cardinals. So,
and that near sack was one that Stanton could not afford. That would have taken them out of field goal range. You got to get rid of this football. He's lucky he did. Babineau should have brought him down.
Injury timeout. Falcons lead by 10.
Coming up on the Visa halftime, Phillip Rivers leads the Chargers to a comeback win in Baltimore. Andy Dalton and the Bengals hold on against the Bucs, and Johnny Manziel scored his first career NFL touchdown.
That highlight and more coming up at the half.
Mike Pereira.
The more you can do, baby.
Unbelievable. I like it. Here's Chandler Catanzaro, who started off a great rookie season hitting his first 17 field goals, but he's only hit one of his last 3. Butler, the punter to hold. Mike Leach, longest tenured long snapper to snap. This kick on the way, and this one is perfect. And so a 44-yard field goal by Chandler Catanzaro, and the Cardinals creep even closer. Well, more injuries in this game for Arizona. Nothing new, and they've had guys go all year long. Darrell Washington suspended. Then Andre Roberts bolts to Washington. Carlos Dansby goes to Cleveland. Jonathan Dwyer, we told you he was arrested on domestic violence. Darnell Dockett goes down. John Abraham goes down. Dave Zastudal, the starting punter, goes down. Matt Shaughnessy, great outside linebacker, goes down. And then, of course, their starting quarterback with a torn ACL. It's a lot to overcome. John Abraham's here today.
And Kevin, they're 9-2 despite all that, and that's why Bruce Arians, it's not even close, as the coach of the year. I mean, he has been fantastic. And when you talk to him about how they've been so successful with so many changes and losses and suspensions, he says, look, it's because I've been the next man up before. He replaced Chuck Pagano as the interim coach. They buy into that philosophy. He doesn't change. He stays aggressive. He pumps confidence into players. He's been fantastic in leading this organization through so many changes.
Catanzaro kicking off, and it's Hester. Hester coming near side. Devin Hester. Seems like every time he returns it is a good return. So the Falcons will take over up 7. We hear from the first time today from Joe Klatt with a game break.
Kev, let's go up to Green Bay. The Patriots drive down the field. Brandon Bolden, 6-yard TD run. He's the 5th player with a rushing TD for the Patriots. That's tied for the most in the NFL. It's 13-7 Packers. They are driving, though. Aaron Rodgers has been spectacular.
Aaron Rodgers has a touchdown today, Joel. So last 10 games for Rodgers at Lambeau, John, he's got 30 touchdowns and no interceptions.
Those 2 number 12s, not bad. How about those years that they're both having? Unbelievable.
So here we are with 2:36 left. Each team with 3 timeouts in the half. Ryan back to throw. Has time, and he dunks it over the middle, and that's not going to get much. Jacquizz Rodgers. And that may take us to the 2-minute warning if the Falcons so choose.
And Kevin, you see in this game, I mean, Atlanta dominated this early. They missed some opportunities. We saw an interception on that last drive, turns into 3 points. They're going in up 17-0. The interception by Rashad Johnson. Missed opportunities. They had an opportunity to bury the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona Cardinals are in this thing right there.
That's the thing. They haven't played all that well, but they're only down 7 as we hit the 2-minute warning in Atlanta. You can follow your favorite team all season long. Go to iTunes.com/NFL. Things have changed in this second quarter, and it really all with that interception return by Rashad Johnson, an 88-yard interception return for a TD. The Falcons look like they're ready to go up 24-0. Now it's a 10-point game. Falcons offense is having some trouble. They've got it, though, with 2 minutes to go in the half. Ryan dumps it over the middle. Rodgers has a first down. Falcons with all 3 timeouts, so they've got plenty of time.
And this is an area that Matt Ryan, throughout his career, at the end of half, at the end of games, excellent in these 2-minute drills.
Matt Bryant's a clutch kicker with a big leg, so they get down to the 35. They'll have a good field goal chance. Julio Jones with a gain of 9 with Peterson on the coverage with 133 and counting. Jones had a big first half, 90 yards now receiving and a touchdown.
Sunday! Let him go!
Blitz coming. Ryan, it's blocked up, going far side, incomplete. He underthrew Harry Douglas Jr.
When you talk to Matt Ryan about these very situations, he'll tell you that the key to just that first down. Get the first down. You don't have to. Some people feel so much like you got to get the ball downfield, right? Or you often see him check them down like he did on that first play. They get that first down and then they get rolling.
Now third down, big down here as Campbell looks like he's winded or hurt or something. Third down, but 1:19 to go. Arizona has all 3 timeouts left too. This is a big down. 4-man rush. Ryan's got time. He's got a first down. It's Julio Jones again. He's been a man this first half. Down to the 43 as they're almost in field goal range. 99 yards in the first, John.
Yeah, he came to play. He was motivated for this one, as he always is, and he's playing like it.
And a 4-man rush. Ryan far side. It's Weems who's got the catch. And Eric Weems is down to the 37. 51 seconds ago. They've got plenty of time in all their timeouts. Not taking any yet. Pretty much already in that man's range. Bryant. Ryan. Time. Now he gets tripped up and we get a late flag. Man, Okafor got him with a fingertip on a shoelace, it looked like, and a penalty too, which will be a big call. And the indication is it's on Arizona.
The pass, illegal contact, defense number 25. Automatic first down, 5-yard penalty.
And that's huge because Okafor had a big sack there that took them out of field goal range. Powers beat on the double move by Harry Douglas and gets his hands on him past 5 yards. Good call by the officials once again.
So now they are in field goal range with 32 seconds to go. Blitz coming. Ryan is going to be incomplete. Looking for Toilolo.
How'd you like to be Levine Toilolo? It's like playing quarterback in Denver after John Elway. Until Peyton Manning come along, no one adds up. And Levine Toilolo replacing a legend in Tony Gonzalez, and the ball's errantly thrown, and it's his fault. everybody in the stadium thinks it's his fault.
You see, John, you got to be the guy after the guy.
That's right.
Yeah, so you got to be the guy after Levine. He could, whatever he does here in Atlanta, it's pretty hard to live up to a Hall of Famer in Gonzalez. At least he will be at some point. Ryan now going to sling it off to Freeman. Gets by Buchanan, and he's out of bounds. That will stop the clock at the 28-yard line. 24 seconds to go, and that'll bring up third down.
And I like Freeman in this offense. He was part of that national championship team at Florida State. But as this year goes on, I think he'll become a bigger part of this offense. He's versatile. He can run it well. He can catch it well. They really have high hopes for Devontae Freeman.
He had a 1,000-yard rushing season at Florida State. First time they had that since Warwick Dunn last year, back in '96. 3rd and 6 here. Again, a blitz. Picked up, though. They get it to Jones. Julio Jones by Peterson inside the 15, and Jones out of bounds at the 11 with 17 seconds to go. Over 100 yards in the first half.
Well, here's this matchup again. Patrick Peterson, little tear screen, and it's one-on-one. You got to go attack that outside leg, and Julio Jones going to run right through the arm tackle by Patrick Peterson. No doubt about it, having the better of this matchup today.
116 yards for Julio Jones. This is a great drive. 10th play of the drive for Atlanta. All 3 timeouts, so they can do whatever they want here. Jacquizz Rodgers is the running back with Ryan. time. Going, corner of the end zone. Douglas, incomplete. And that's a flag. That's going to be on Douglas, I think.
Yeah, it's got to be. Gerard Powers had a chance at that interception, and maybe not a bad penalty for Harry Douglas, because otherwise that might have been picked.
Let's see.
Pass interference, offense number 83. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Well, that now changes things a little bit.
See Harry Douglas right here. Powers waiting for that football. And not a smart throw. Outside leverage by Powers, just waiting on that route. And Harry Douglas wise to have the push, because otherwise that may indeed be intercepted.
Yeah, that was never there. I mean, Douglas was never open. Ryan took a shot, and now they're backed up on their own 21 with 13 seconds to go in the half. Ryan gonna chuck it to Jones, makes another catch, feet in bounds, and he's out of bounds at the 5 with 7 seconds left, so they do have time for another shot.
We asked Matt Ryan about this matchup. He said, we have all the respect in the world for Patrick Peterson, but we think Julio's pretty good as well. Telling me that he was going to not shy away from going at Patrick Peterson. He certainly hasn't.
7 seconds to go with all their timeouts, so they certainly can take their shot here. As long as the play is relatively quick. Julio Jones lines up at the top of your screen with Patrick Peterson one-on-one. Blitz. Picked up, going for the end zone, incomplete. He was looking for Devin Hester, but Powers, again, with pretty good coverage.
That's a fantastic play on the ball by Powers. It looked like he was beat all out. Casino blitz, bringing everyone, and Powers just gets that hand in there. That's a ball Hester should catch, though.
Wow. I thought he had maybe got his hand on the ball.
Oh, I thought the same thing. That's got to be a catch. And Kevin, we've talked missed opportunities for Atlanta Falcons. Another one right there.
They certainly have had a few more, and now they'll try a 23-yard field goal by Matt Bryant, which would end the half. And it's up and good. The Falcons do put together a nice drive to get some points and up their lead to 10. So a 20-10 Falcons lead over the Cardinals. Got a mild upset brewing here in Atlanta. Time down for the halftime show with Kurt and the fellas in LA. It's the Falcons by 10 at the break. We get set for the third quarter. 20-10 Falcons lead the Cardinals. Today's excitement is brought to you by Nissan. Julio Jones pretty exciting, I'd say. 132 yards and a touchdown in the first half. Well, Patrick Peterson said that he wanted that matchup. Oh, John Lynch, he got it all right in that first half.
As I said in the first half, be careful what you wish for, because Patrick Peterson, incredible player. So is Julio Jones.
The thing is, this game could have been a blowout right now. It was 17-0, and the Falcons were driving to make it 24. And then Rashad Johnson picked off a Matt Ryan pass, returned for a touchdown, 88 yards. Otherwise, this could have been a completely different feel. But the Falcons, to their credit, put together a nice drive at the end of the half for a field goal, and they've got the 20-10 lead. Falcons, though, did leave some chances on the table. How about this Cardinal offense? They got going a little bit, but just not all the way there.
Well, they showed signs of life, and it's going to be interesting. Andre Ellington not in there right now, so he's one of the dynamic players, along with Larry Fitzgerald not there. Stanton did start to establish some rhythm. We'll see if he can carry that forward.
So Ellington's still out. And again, the Cardinals haven't scored since the first two drives against Detroit. As they're going to hand off to Bryce, the rookie. And downstairs we go with Pam Oliver.
Well, Kevin, Bruce Arians very, very serious at halftime. I asked him about Julio Jones and the yardage he's been able to accrue. He said, we've just got to play better. Patrick Peterson has got to start winning those one-on-one matchups. Meantime, running back Andre Ellington will not return. As for Mike Smith, he says he likes the run and pass mix, but he also said we have got to start scoring when we get in the red zone. Back to you.
Yeah, I certainly agree with that. Thanks, Pam. And so Ellington is definitely not coming back. And that takes away a major weapon. No Ellington, no Larry Fitzgerald, who didn't start with the knee injury. Stanton to throw it, looking far side, and he's got a completion for a first down. It's Michael Floyd, who's having a much better game today after being shut out in Seattle. That's his 5th catch. You get a penalty as well on the play.
Illegal contact. Defense number 27. Penalties decline. First down.
They're going to go. John, you know, I think for Arizona, we showed you earlier, the running game for the last 3 weeks especially has been putrid, but all year they just haven't gotten it going. And now Ellington hurt, you know, Jimmy Johnson at the halftime saying, hey, you might have to think about having a Ray Rice discussion, but they're going to need something in the run game if they really want to go to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, we'll see if it's Michael Bush. We'll see how long Ellington's out. Jimmy, awful bold in throwing that out, and the Cardinals are bold under Bruce Arians.
And we get movement before the snap.
False start. Offense, number 62. 5-yard penalty. First down.
All right, so you heard Pam say that Ellington is not coming back. Also, Tyrann Mathieu, their good-looking young safety out of LSU, he's not coming back, we're told now. So we knew that Arizona came in with a bunch of injuries, and now even more that they've got to deal with, and a 10-point deficit against the Falcons team playing pretty well today. First down. Stanton stays alive, hits Carlson. We get a flag from the secondary. John Carlson out to the 40, but we've got to see what the flag is.
Another illegal contact down the field for the Atlanta Falcons.
That's McClain. See if it's on him.
Illegal contact. Defense number 27. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
You see the outside receiver down here, Teddy Ginn, and he continues to ride him. I don't know about the illegal contact there. It looked within 5 yards, but the official on it.
They had one more injury to the Cardinals. Their right guard, Paul Fanaika, 5th-year man from Arizona State, also is out. We don't have a report on him. So Larson and Cooper, who are rotating a left guard, are both in there now. They try the run game, but Bryce is not going to have much.
And Kevin, you know, one thing I think, you know, that illegal contact, we saw them at 1st and 15. You have illegal contact. Toughest thing about that penalty, it's an automatic first down. And I think that's something the league should revisit. If you're going to call this at the frequency they are, make it a 5-yard penalty, but not the automatic first down, because it is so, I mean, you really pay for that as a defense.
We met with Richard Sherman last week when we were doing the Seahawks Cardinal game, and he said, hey, you know, so much in the defense, if you get a pass interference penalty, you give it a 70 yards. Well, why is it not the same way for offense? He's got a point. 2nd and 8. Quick throw. Stanton hits Jerron Brown, and Brown to 40, and another flag flies. So this has been a lot of laundry here to start this second half.
They get them on an offensive pass interference, clearing the way for Jerron Brown.
I don't think Bruce Arians particularly liked that call, judging by the shot we had of him. Terry McAulay is going to sort it on out. You know, Bruce is...
Pass interference. Offense number 15. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
Bruce is obviously a great coach. Coach of the year with Indianapolis. Certainly on his way to it here as we will look at the penalty.
There it is. And the ball's not thrown behind the line of scrimmage, so Michael Floyd can't be blocking prior to that, that catch.
One of the points of emphasis this year. But the thought on Arians is doing another amazing job. From our standpoint, from a media standpoint, you can talk to him all day. I mean, he is energetic. He's great to talk to. And John, he had a good line. He knew this game was going to be tough despite Atlanta's record. He said, last time I checked, when they hang the banners up, they don't put the records on them. He's right.
He knew they were playing for a lot.
2nd and long. And Stanton's got a completion. It's John Brown, his first catch of the day. And he's all the way up to the 40-yard line. So Brown picks up 13.
And that's key because he's a guy they have to have right now. We've mentioned Ellington no longer in. Larry Fitzgerald not in the lineup. So John Brown is one of the last truly dynamic players out there along with Michael Floyd. He has to get involved in this game for them to be successful.
And a 3rd down and 5. Arizona today just 1 of 4 on 3rd downs, and it's an area where Atlanta has struggled. They're 30th in the league in this department. Delayed blitz coming. Stanton drilled. Ball is loose, and I believe Atlanta's got it. Falcons came with the blitz, and it worked. And they've got the 3rd turnover from Arizona today. It was Cliff Matthews who got there.
Down.
And they're calling an incomplete pass now. 4th down. You see the hand coming forward, but Cliff Matthews giving them a well-needed pass rush. This is a team that's 2nd to last in the league coming in terms of sacks.
I would challenge that. You think that hand was coming forward? I don't. You can challenge it, and now we get a whistle blown. I don't think his hand was coming forward. Now I'll have to see it again. Mike Smith. Did he throw the red flag? I don't see it on the field, but they blew this play dead. Still don't see the red flag.
There is no automatic replay review as there was not a change of possession. 4th down.
And that bought Mike Smith time to take another look at this. And you see that hand. That is very, very close. And I think Mike Smith would be wise to challenge. That one is so close.
Now, with this, it's not the elbow or the shoulder coming forward. It's simply the hand coming forward, which would make it an incomplete pass. But I don't know, and it doesn't matter now. Next play's off, and you can't review it anymore. I'm surprised he didn't challenge that. Mike Smith's only challenged 1 play all year long, and he lets this one go. So the Falcons will take over deep in their own territory after the punt.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. By Dodge Dart. Don't touch it. By Burger King. Mix and match 2 large premium sandwiches for just $5 only at Burger King. And by Walmart. This Cyber Monday, win bigger with deals unlocked throughout the day on walmart.com.
Let's bring in Mike Pereira on that last play. Mike, I was a little surprised Falcons didn't challenge. Can you take us through what you saw?
Yeah, so was I, because there's really 2 parts of this. They ruled on the field an incomplete pass. Now, to me, I don't think the hand is starting forward. I think it's an empty hand, plus the fact that there is a clear recovery. But Mike Smith may have been told that it was going to be automatically reviewable, which it wasn't.
Interesting you say that, as here's a pass to Toilolo, and he gets a short gain, 1.5 yards. Because, Mike, you mentioned that. Well, let's look at the replay. This is what Mike's talking about. Again, watch the hand. If the hand goes forward, that's when you would rule it an incomplete pass. And here's the clear recovery that Mike talked about. So that was evident. But what the other thing Mike said, I think has some merit, John, because we saw the officials talking with Mike Smith, and I wonder if they told him, which would be incorrect, that he couldn't challenge that play.
He needs to challenge that play.
Yeah.
It was too close not to.
Well, anyway, thank you, Mike Pereira, for the explanation, as always. And now the Falcons give it to Steven Jackson for a gain of 4. Cromartie in on the tackle. This is what we're talking about. I mean, Mike looks pretty animated there, and I wonder what else they could be discussing.
And, he had ample opportunity because they blew that dead, which they shouldn't have, which gave him more time to look at the replays upstairs. Very surprised that play was not challenged.
Now 3rd and 4. Really bizarre, kind of disjointed start to the second half. Falcons have been good, 5 of 9 on 3rd down today. Blitz coming. Ryan hangs in, and he does it well to Douglas. Harry Douglas has a big catch and a 1st down. Out to the 37-yard line. It's a 19-yard gain.
Well, when you look at this play, there's a bunch to the left with 3 receivers. He's on the single receiver side, but watch all the traffic. He gets caught in the wash, does Gerard Powers, wide open. You see Gerard Powers having to go through all that traffic, and the result is Harry Douglas wide open. Again, great design and execution by the Atlanta Falcons offense.
Douglas having a good day with Roddy White out today, 65 yards. And He's a really good slot receiver. They had 1,000 yards last year with all the injuries. Been quiet this year with a foot injury. Ryan gonna go deep for Julio Jones. There's a flag and the catch. Jones again beating Patrick Peterson. A penalty too, and let's see who that's on.
Now this is like
Holding, defense number 21. Penalties decline. First down.
Julio Jones is owning Patrick Peterson right about now. You see the double move. They get the holding on Patrick Peterson, but Julio Jones concentrates, gets both feet. Actually not going to be a catch. You got to challenge this if you're Bruce Arians.
Nothing yet. Falcons get off the play. Toilolo. So now a couple opportunities to challenge have gone by the wayside.
You've got to throw the challenge. We've seen both coaches on plays where you watch left foot down, this right foot does not land in bounds. It's another
wow.
Oh,
it's a 41-yard gain.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Falcons, who could not connect on any deep balls last week, have took 4 shots, John, of over 20 yards in the air. And they've connected on 3 of them for 98 yards. It's been a huge factor today. Steven Jackson, the carry. Motoring forward, he's got a first down.
And now if you're the Falcons, Kevin, you got to finish this drive. I mean, you've been down here all day. They've been so good in the red zone this year. One of the positives for this offense coming in, but today haven't been able to punch it in. You've got to get this in the end zone.
Falcons coming in with a 3rd best red zone team in the league, scoring touchdowns inside the 20. Matt Ryan, a big reason why. Jackson up the middle, and he is down near the 5. We've got a game break with Kurt Menefee.
Another big play for the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers hooks up with Jordy Nelson, 45 yards in the touchdown. Already in the first half, 282 yards and 2 touchdown passes for Rodgers. And they lead the Patriots 23-14 at the break. Kevin, John, and Pan.
Say MVP.
The year he is having.
His numbers are a joke.
And don't forget about Jordy Nelson. I don't think he gets enough credit. That man has become an elite receiver in this league, much like Julio Jones.
Don't think the Packers don't have a casual eye on this game, too. Timeout called by Atlanta with a 2nd and goal coming up. 20-10 Falcons knocking on the doorstep here in the 3rd. Play on this drive, 41 yards to Julio Jones, and it shouldn't have counted, and Arizona didn't challenge.
Oh, Patrick Peterson was telling his sideline, challenge it, challenge it. Red flag stayed in the pocket of Bruce Arians.
2nd down and goal from the 6 for Atlanta. Steven Jackson cuts left. He gets down inside the 3, and so a 3rd and goal coming up. This is quite the big down coming up. You turn it into a 3-score game with a touchdown here. Look at the runs today. The one big one, a 55-yarder. It all adds up to 75 yards, 78 yards for Jackson now on 11 carries.
I like the way that Dirk Cutter has stuck with him in that run game today. Very important to slow this Arizona blitz package down.
Julio Jones, top of your screen on a 3rd and goal. Blitz coming. Ryan gets rid of it. Douglas can't make the one-handed catch. And so again, this Arizona defense holds as now 3 field goal tries for Atlanta in this red zone.
Well, they bring the pressure on Matt Ryan, and that causes the ball to be errant. But again, missed opportunities. You have to finish these drives. They've been down there all day, and they've failed to get it in the end zone. And that could come back to bite them.
This will be a 21-yard field goal. Bryant's got a 20-yarder and a 23-yarder. That'll tell you they've been knocking on the doorstep but can't punch it in. The only touchdown came on a 4th and goal try. They converted to Toilolo. Bryant is good from 21 yards out, and it makes it a 13-point lead for Atlanta.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Sprint.
NFL athletes grew up playing in communities all across America. Now, through NFL Play 60, they're encouraging kids in neighborhoods everywhere to come out and play for 60 minutes a day. To learn more, visit NFLrush.com/play60. So Atlanta puts together a good drive, 10 plays, 85 yards, but again, they can't punch it in. Their lead stands at 13 points as they'll kick it off to Ted Ginn. Arizona, special teams-wise, outside of field goal kicking, has struggled. They are last in the league in kickoff returns. This time we'll get a chance to do it. So they'll start on their own 20. If you're looking for hard-hitting championship caliber fights, so turn to Fox. Former UFC heavyweight champ Junior Dos Santos takes on fourth-ranked Stipe Miocic. What could be an epic bout. Full weekend. UFC action begins Friday, December 12th. The Ultimate Fighter finale on Fox Sports 1. A champion will be crowned. Continues Saturday, December 13th with the UFC Fight Night on Fox. So Arizona down 13 from their own 20 with 6:13 to go in the third. Stanton all kinds of time near side, good throw and catch. Ted Ginn, who's been involved in the offense today without Larry Fitzgerald. That's his third catch.
Those out routes are there all day long. They're there for the taking. Atlanta very cognizant that this is a team that likes to go up top. They're playing inside technique and way back. As long as Drew Stanton wants those outs, they're there. And then watch the double move coming. Atlanta very thin at the quarterback position, opposite of Trufant.
Hey, Mike's in there. Mike's in there.
There's Trufant. Came out hurt a little bit ago, but he's back in the game. Top of your screen. This is John Brown in motion. They fake it to him. And now Stanton comes back with a screen to Grice. Nicely designed play. And Grice has a pickup of 9. Werlo came over to make the tackle.
A real good design, and that's the impact John Brown in just his rookie season has had, so much that you're a pretty good player when they start using as a decoy and you draw the attention of that opposing defense, and that's exactly what John Brown. The more I watch this rookie from Pittsburgh State, the more I like him. He has a big future in front of him, a very explosive player for the Arizona Cardinals.
And off to Grice, slipping forward. He's going to pick up about 3. Well, the NFC West loaded again. Seattle's looks the last 2 games like they're back to their form. They really look great. They beat Arizona last week. Cardinals best record in the conference. San Francisco a little bit of trouble, but they play their division mates, and the Rams absolutely pasted the Raiders today. And then the Saints with a big win in Pittsburgh in the NFC South. Carolina and Tampa fading back, so it looks like this is going to be a 2-team race. Atlanta beat New Orleans. They've got the tiebreaker edge right now. They meet again week 16, which will be an enormous game. 1st and 10. Blitz coming. Werlo. They set it up to Grice. 1 man to beat. The Falcons close that out pretty well, as Malachi Goodman was there initially.
See, Bruce Arians in this offense, they're playing shorthanded right now. Normally that's Andre Ellington out there, and when you have him in space one-on-one, that's a win 9 out of 10 times. Instead it goes to Grice, and you don't get much there. Really feeling the loss of Andre Ellington.
John, the Cardinals are 4 minutes away from going 10 full quarters without scoring an offensive touchdown.
I remember that one touchdown came by way of Rashad Johnson interception, so.
And they need it in the worst way. Down 13. Stanton stands and hits Jerron Brown. And Brown makes 1 move, but then gets swarmed. It's going to be down to the 46. So you're looking at a 3rd and 2 coming up.
Kevin, I think the one thing that needs to be pointed out, this Atlanta defense has been impressive today. They've been bad all year. I'm looking at my board, and there's not much there because I don't like negativity, but there wasn't a whole lot of positive to put on this board. And they're playing a pretty good game here today, keeping the Cardinals, the shorthanded Cardinals, in check.
John, they came in as the worst-ranked defense in the league. Mike Nolan's crew, though, and they had been awful on 3rd down on the year, but as you see, holding Arizona to 1 of 5. 3rd and 2. Blitz coming. Stanton stands in, throwing a deep route, incomplete. Trufant just like glue. This guy can play.
You see the double move. There it is, and it's just an unbelievable play by Trufant. Bruce Arians, upset because he thinks he's got that arm bar on Ted Ginn, but not called. And the Atlanta defense stands up once again.
And Butler to punt it away. Hester calls fair catch and will take it up across the 13-yard line. Falcons defense playing well, and Julio Jones, who is lighting it up today, back on the field for the Falcons, up 13 when we come back. Well, they were trying to go deep to Ted Ginn, and Bruce Arians was ballistic during the break on this officiating crew. He wanted a penalty on Trufant. Instead, it's Falcons ball, up 13, 2:46 to go in the third. Ryan rolling, looking, and what a play. Aaron Douglas on the slide, and it's a good catch across to the 32.
And that's one thing Matt Ryan's really improved at, extending the plays and throwing on the run and sometimes running it. That's a dime, exactly where that ball needs to be by Matt Ryan. And Kevin, it's the sticking to the run that allows this play action passing to become part of this game. So a lot of credit to Dirk Cutter there.
Falcons today have 103 yards rushing, and you're saying, okay, well, that's not a totally crazy number. Well, they only average 93 a game in the bottom of the league, so at this point it is a crazy number for them in a good way. Fake, here's Hester on the reverse. Devin Hester across the 35 to the 36. He's going to pick up 4 for Alex Okafor. Made the stop. Okafor has really played well for this crew. Here's what we told you about Arians was hot.
He wanted that arm bar on Desmond Trufant. You see him. They're discussing that arm bar, but did not get the call.
Think it should have been called?
I do. That arm was there, and it was restricting Ted Ginn. Can't believe I just said it. Former defensive.
I've changed my opinion of you, John. Can't believe you're sticking up for the offense. Steven Jackson running through Larry Foote, running hard, and a first down. Well, Steven Jackson is having a renaissance today, and right now he's at 85 yards, which is the most he's ever rushed for as a Falcon.
That right there looks like the Steven Jackson I played against, like the guy we saw in St. Louis for all those years. And this is a guy with some credentials. 456 receptions in his career, 11,182 yards coming into today. He's got a resume. People think he's done. He's saying, not so fast. I'm still here.
Ryan sidesteps pressure. Now he's going to tuck and run away. Sam Acho coming at him. And Acho going to take him down. But Ryan using his feet, going to pick up a few yards. You said, John, he's done that so much better this year. And even for a play like that. Question is, why do you think he's gotten better at it?
Well, he said, I think you see it when we go meet with Matt Ryan. He's changed his body composition. He looks like an athlete now. He just used to look like a tall quarterback. Now he's got some muscles to him. He's fit, and he works hard. He said, I worked so hard in this offseason because Dirk Cutter pointed out that's something he could improve at, and he certainly has. We go to the fourth quarter, and the Falcons, surprising many, up 13 on the Cardinals. Fourth quarter coming up next. You want to see the difference between a 9-2 Cardinals team and a 4-7 Falcons team? Here it is. Arizona has owned the fourth quarter in every way. Scoring, holding other teams down, turnovers, you name it. Meanwhile, the Falcons, it's the complete opposite. They have been miserable in the fourth quarter. And so here we go, starting the fourth. 23-10 Falcons over the Cardinals, and Atlanta's football at the 49 with a 2nd and 4. Ryan hits Douglas on the slant, and a first down for Atlanta. Harry Douglas down to the 36. It's a gain of 15. I was just going to say, you know what happened last time we put one of those graphics on? They bucked the trend. Yeah. And if Atlanta wants to win this division, they're going to have to buck that trend again. They've got an opportunity to finish this Arizona Cardinals team right here. And we'll see if Matty Ice, Matt Ryan, and this Atlanta Falcons team can do that. Devontae Freeman in the game in the backfield for Atlanta. 5 carries, 27 yards for him. They give it to him. The rookie from Florida State gets upended and drills. He's going to pick up 2, but Larry Foote seems to be everywhere, making his 8th tackle. And you have this feeling with the Arizona Cardinals. We showed that great Arizona Cardinal next man up graphic. But how many next man's up can you survive? I mean, you're talking Tyrann Mathieu goes out, Larry Fitzgerald not in there, Andre Ellington out. How many times can you survive it? Your starting quarterback's already out. You just wonder with this team how much loss of players can they withstand.
Pressure, Ryan gets Douglas again on the right side, and Harry Douglas makes the grab. He's down to the 27, so Harry Douglas is now over 100 yards. So they've got Jones with 173 yards, and Harry Douglas, with the absence of Roddy White, 8 catches, 105 yards. He stepped up.
Harry Douglas is a good player. I mean, so this is no surprise. When given the opportunity, he shined. Only problem for him, he plays with 2 great ones in Julio Jones and Roddy White.
John, this Arizona defense so good. Finish that in a sec as Jackson goes nowhere. And he didn't get it. I mean, they needed a yard, and he did not get it. And now you're up 13, and if you kick a field goal, you're up 16, but it's still a 2-score game.
I think this is the right call. You've got to make them get the 2 touchdowns and get the 2-point conversions right here.
Well, considering they haven't scored an offensive touchdown in 10 quarters, I agree. I think this is the right call. So, Brian, this will be a 45-yarder. Bosher is the holder. And Bryant, who is so good, Matt Bryant from 45 yards out. It's now 26-10. Atlanta in front.
Arizona Cardinals were livid during this break because watch Levine Toilolo. This isn't a hold. This is a mauling on Justin Bethel. And the Arizona Cardinals were hot. Dan Williams, Larry Foote, Bruce Arians, all over the officials. They feel like they're getting the wrong end of this bargain with the officiating today.
Well, it's 2 big calls they haven't gotten now. Matt Bryant will kick it off. Ted Ginn lets it go right through. And Arizona takes over, down 16 points in the 4th.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by PlayStation 4. Greatness awaits. By Lowe's. Lowe's, never stop improving. And by ExxonMobil.
Well, NFL Week 13 continues. Sunday Night Football tonight, 8:30 Eastern on NBC, and then tomorrow Monday Night Football on ESPN. Here's what we got from Atlanta. 12:35 to play. It's the Falcons 26, the Cardinals 10, and this Cardinals offense has been invisible. They haven't scored a touchdown since the 2nd possession against Detroit. That's over 10 quarters. Stanton airing it out here, going deep and not connecting. He was looking for Ginn, but it was not there. It was Robert McClain on the coverage. And John, look, they played Seattle last week. Seattle was off the hook the last 2 games defensively, and Atlanta's playing well defensively today. Really have, as you pointed out, the last couple games. This is a problem now. I mean, this is.
It is. I mean, this is the last ranked defense in football, and they're making them look pretty good. And you got to give Atlanta some credit. William Moore being back, but this offense is struggling big time. And we pointed out 2 of your dynamic playmakers, Larry Fitzgerald, Ellington, not in there. But this is bad, and you gotta start to have concerns if you're the Arizona Cardinals.
Time's a factor. They're down 2 touchdowns. Stanton over the middle has a completion. Again, it's Ginn getting involved, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down and 4 after a pickup of 6. So Ginn's been involved in the offense more so than in recent weeks, with Fitzgerald out again.
And this is an area, 3rd down, where they've been. To play good offensive football, you got to excel on 3rd down. They're 1 of 6 on 3rd down today.
Marion Grice, the rookie running back in the game, lined up as a receiver on the top of your screen behind Ted Ginn. On 3rd down, Stanton steps up, fires, knocked away. Josh Wilson knocked it away from John Brown, and the Falcons will punt again.
And that's a couple of things. A little late with the ball was Drew Stanton. A little behind him. That's what John Brown was upset with. And just a fantastic play by Josh Wilson. going and attacking that football. Drew Stanton got to put that ball out in front of John Brown. Again, Atlanta gets off the field on 3rd down.
And so now it's Devin Hester. Takes it to 29. Flags fly, and Hester is taken down to the 34. This one is going to move the Falcons back. It's going to be a hold on Atlanta.
And it was pretty obvious.
During the return, holding, receiving team number 36. 10-yard penalty, 1st down, timeout.
And so the Falcons will have the ball, though, up 16 with 11:25 to go. They're fired up, and the Cardinals trying to find the magic for their offense, which has gone away. 26-10, Falcons over the Cardinals. Certainly a mild surprise, considering that Arizona came in with the best record in the league. Atlanta's playing well after a day where the Saints win at Pittsburgh, trying to keep pace with them. The first place in the NFC South. Their football and time now a factor. As they're going to hand up to Jacquizz Rodgers.
And Kevin, I don't think you can play conservative if you're the Atlanta Falcons, but you got to think, so long as we don't screw this up, Arizona's going to struggle to score a touchdown. It's been however many quarters. I mean, they're really slumping as an offense.
Well, here are the storylines today. Matt Ryan, we showed you at the onset, the last 2 games, he had thrown 9 picks against Arizona last few years. He's been really good. He threw a pick to the house, which was a momentum killer at the time. But 28 of 37 for 334, 2 touchdowns for Ryan today. 2nd and 5. Rodgers makes a man miss, still going. Going to be a 3rd down and short. Julio Jones, 9 catches, 173 yards and a touchdown, as he has really gotten the best of that matchup with Patrick Peterson. Harry Douglas with Roddy White hurt today. He's over 100 yards as well. And this Atlanta defense has held Arizona to 221 total yards of offense. So that wraps up what you're seeing right here.
Atlanta's come to play, and I tell you, Arizona, I'd be a little worried because you're starting that last play. Kevin Minter wide open, missed tackle. You didn't see that early in the year from this defense. Some things starting to come apart at the seams for the Arizona Cardinals.
3rd down and 1. They bring in Gabe Karimi with an extra tackle. Here's Steven Jackson looking for that one, and he is not going to get it. That defense holds up on the left side, and the Falcons on 3rd and 1 do not convert.
And that's huge, and that's a big play. You see Tommy Kelly get off the ball, the surge, and then Acho, Tony Jefferson, Glenn Carson, who just came in for Minter, they pulled because he missed the tackle on the previous play, all there to meet Steven Jackson.
If the Cardinals ever needed a good return from Ted Ginn, now's the time. He's got 1 touchdown this year, a 71-yarder against the Giants, but other than that touchdown, he's only averaging...
Oh my goodness. Well, they just jumped off.
Scratch that conversation.
We'll see if they call a false start or offsides.
False start. Offense number 47. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
So that's on the long snapper, moving the football. Oh, you see that, Kevin?
John, you ever hear of a makeup call?
I don't see anything. I really don't. I see nothing there. It's not reviewable. Sometimes these long snappers will squeeze the ball, but there was nothing there that was obvious to me. And that's, I do not agree with that call.
I did not see it either. So the Cardinals get a break after they thought he deserved a couple earlier. But just talking about Ginn, he could use one here. Bosher, good kick, man. Ginn backpedaling 15 yards, takes it at the 15. And looking around, and gets it out across the 25 to the 29-yard line. Cardinals work to do, down 16, under 9 to play.
Today's game is sponsored by the new Samsung Galaxy Note 4. The next big thing is here.
Well, upon further review, the long snapper got me as well. Because watch right there, that flinch. That's what they called good call. Confirmed by Mike Pereira in Los Angeles. And Terry McCauley, my apologies.
Arizona's got to show something. They're down 26-10 with 8:57 to go. Stanton stands in tall, throws complete to Jerron Brown. It's good for a first. That's a good start. So Jerron Brown making the catch. That's his second catch today. The guy who's been quiet is John Brown, the outstanding rookie. Just one catch for 13 yards today. Four-man rush. They get Jerron Brown again over the middle, and he is going to be close to a first. They're marking him a little short right here, right now. Cardinals know they've got to go here, down 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions.
And if you're Mike Nolan in this Atlanta defense, stay aggressive. You've gotten to this point by being aggressive, a good mix of pressures. Keep them coming.
Second down and 1. Pressure comes. They get Brown again. So 3 straight catches to Jerron Brown, and he's got another first down.
And that's Mike Nolan did exactly that, and that's okay. That result, quick throw by Stanton, but a good tackle. You just keep the ball in front of you if you're Atlanta and make them earn everything they get. You're doing a good job right now.
Stanton has time. Going far side. Almost intercepted. There were 3 Falcons there, and Josh Wilson should have picked it off.
We saw one of these earlier on that same side of the field with Robert McClain. But when you want to finish a team, you've got to make plays like this. They've had so many in their hands. This game should be over, but plays like that allow Arizona to still have life.
Drew Stanton dodged a bullet. Mike Nolan and his defense have played better the last few weeks and really well today. Second and 10. Again, Stanton with time, throws high, and that one is intercepted by Wilson. Wilson running far side, takes a seat, and the Falcons take over.
Drew Stanton is not right here today in Atlanta. High balls across the middle turn into interceptions. We've seen 2 of them today. Should have been a couple more. Problems at the quarterback position in Arizona.
Cardinals have some real problems. I mean, we were talking about them going to the Super Bowl 2 weeks ago, John, and their offense is completely inept right now. Meanwhile, the Falcons looking to close this one out to Douglas for a first down for Atlanta as Matt Ryan's terrific day continues.
And Kevin, you got to play the quarterback position in this league with great confidence, and you have to be able to throw the football accurately. Right there, Michael Floyd wide open. You see Drew Stanton just not playing with confidence, sees pressure that's not there, seeing ghosts, and then throws it high over the middle, which that's a known fact in this league. When you throw it high over the middle, the ball's going to be intercepted. And Drew Stanton played so well early in the year, but the longer he's playing, the tougher it's getting for him.
And the Falcons now looking to close the door. They've played a wonderful offensive game, even though they've come up shy in the red zone. Done a lot of good things today, including running the ball, but that time no shot. And a loss of a yard to Freeman. Have you heard about the new show Empire? It's coming in January, starring Terrence Howard as a hip-hop mogul and Taraji Henson as his just-out-of-prison ex-wife. If you love high drama and amazing music, this is the show for you. Empire premieres Wednesday, January 7th on Fox.
Kevin, when you talk about Drew Stanton struggling like this, the thing is, Carson Palmer, he was playing lights out. Yes. I mean, he was really playing the best football since before that previous knee injury in Cincinnati. And so this team had high hopes, and rightly so. And it's not done, but they're certainly struggling.
Ryan in trouble, just going to throw it away. He had pressure by Tommy Kelly. This was what we were looking at coming into the game, and it's been one-sided.
It has, and right there, double coverage. Julio still gets it. This one, Peterson tries to play off, contest the throw, but Julio comes in, and then Patrick Peterson, you're going to get up on Julio Jones. You have to use your hands at the line of scrimmage. He allows the free release, and Julio Jones has owned Patrick Peterson today. Patrick Peterson still one of the finest corners in this league, but Julio Jones won this matchup in a big way today.
Peterson told us, yeah, I asked for Julio Jones, and it's a competitive edge I have, always striving for greatness. The only way you do that against the other team's #1 guy. Today it's been all Julio, who's close to a career high. 3rd down. Ryan going to Jones again, and he's got it. Julio Jones. What a performance from Julio Jones. We get a flag now late on the other side of the field. Hang on.
Holding, defense number 31. Penalties decline. First down.
Julio Jones now 10 receptions for 189 yards. Turning Patrick Peterson around. Matt Ryan on the money. Julio Jones has had himself quite a day.
This is his best game in the pros. His previous high, 182 yards and 11 catches. That was against the Rams early last year. What a performance from Julio Jones. And the Falcons looking to really salt this one away with 5:16 to go, up 16. Here's Steven Jackson up the middle. Jackson running hard down to the 20. He's got a gain of 7.5.
Give this offensive line some credit. The left side, Jake Matthews, Bear Pasco, the extra tight end, Eric Weems, the wide receiver, mixing it up, and Steven Jackson, very reminiscent of the guy we all saw in St. Louis be so effective, running with great power, authority today for the Atlanta Falcons.
They signed Steven Jackson to a 3-year deal. Michael Turner had come to the end after having a great run as a Falcon, hoping to be the guy we're seeing today. He's not had a 100-yard game as a Falcon, but he's close. Here he is again, falling forward, and he's not going to have the first. It'll be a 3rd and short.
There's the jinx we put on this Arizona defense.
We did.
But a very effective job, and I really give credit to this offensive staff, knowing that they had to run the football creatively from the start. They have. It's attacking this Arizona defense on the perimeter. Don't go into the teeth of it where Dan Williams and Calais Campbell are, and they've been very, very effective in doing so.
Well, they've run the ball 29 times today. We're going to look, but I bet that's a season high for them. 3rd and 1 now, with Jackson in the eye in a big formation. Ryan looking to throw, going for DeMarco, incomplete. It's a strange target to have on that route, the fullback. Talk about them running it up and going, running the ball well, and they choose that one. It doesn't work, so they'll try another field goal. But this would make it a 3-possession game.
See Acho using his head effectively in coverage.
Matt Bryant, who has tied his career high with 4 field goals today, looking for a 5th. And again, this would make it a 3-possession game. This is huge. 3:38 to go, and a 38-yard attempt for Bryant. He's got it, and the Falcons add to the hang on. There's a penalty. Let's wait a second. Indication is on Arizona.
Offside, defense number 28. 5-yard penalty, first down.
And they're going to take the points off the board and add the first down and try and run out the clock.
Well, Mike Smith has taken a beating for his clock management at the end of that Cleveland game. He's lined up offsides as Justin Bethel at the top of your screen. That head, and Mike Smith says, let's keep the ball and run some more clock. Eat this clock up and finish this game. Thing you have to do if you're going to take points, you got to hold on to this football.
Yeah, you do. Thought for a minute they might just keep the 3-possession game on there, but they're going to keep the ball. 1st and 10. Here's Jackson cutting up the middle, and he's got a gain down to the 12. Banner day for Julio Jones. Let's go down with Pam Oliver.
Well, Kevin, I had a chance to talk to Julio Jones, and I tell you what, he was really annoyed and bored with that conversation about his matchup with Patrick Peterson coming in. He also told me that it was a bunch of hoo-ha, and that's a quote, about this matchup, and he just felt like Peterson can do the talking. He's going to let his play speak for itself. He also said they dusted off some old routes that they haven't used since training camp. Back to you.
Wow, that's interesting. hoo-ha. He's got a $189 in the air.
What a hoo-ha. He put a beat down on Patrick Peterson thus far today.
Jackson off the gut, breaks through. Jackson fighting hard. And Steven Jackson now over 100 yards. First time he's over 100 as a Falcon. The first time in 21 games that the Cardinals have allowed a 100-yard rusher. How about that? Arizona calls their first timeout to stop the clock, but the Falcons are poised to finish this one off. And, you know, there's so much to look at in this game. Atlanta, all the talk of the 4-7. They are, you know, they're top of the division. How can that be? Mike Smith said, John, not going to apologize for being in first place. But you hit it in the open. You talked about playing better. They played a lot better today.
Oh, they played exceptional football. They really have. And these Arizona Cardinals, they don't look right. They do not look like the team that we got a scuffle going on the field right about now. But the Arizona Cardinals don't look right, and it starts at the quarterback position. Drew Stanton, who played so well early, not playing at a level you need to compete in this league.
A little skirmish going on the field. Well, you talked about Arizona not looking right, and I have to think that some of this is frustration right now. But look, defensively, they've held Atlanta out in the red zone. They've done a good job there. I think last week they did all they could with Seattle taking over possession in their own territory at the time. But this offense got some serious problems now. You're talking about going, 2 games and 3 additional quarters without scoring a single offensive touchdown.
The good news is you're going to get Larry Fitzgerald back at some point, and hopefully you get Andre Ellington out back. But they are struggling to say the least.
Here's Freeman, left side. In Arizona, will they choose to use another timeout? They will. And they're off in the NFC South. Cam Newton and the Panthers out early. Here comes Matt Ryan and the Falcons. Drew Brees with the big win at Pittsburgh today. Who's going to finish first? How will it end in this division? Well, it's going to end today, at least, with the Saints and the Falcons at 5-7, and Atlanta won Week 1. They meet again in New Orleans Week 16. Never done horse racing play-by-play. This is my first time.
Stick to football.
So there's the schedule, what you got. So that Week 16 game at New Orleans very easily could be the playoffs. That's the bottom line. So after that, after accepting the penalty and moving forward, they will now try the field goal one more time. This is 28 yards from Matt Bryant. Make a 3-possession game. Kicks it up. Kicks it through. Career-high 5 field goals for Matt Bryant. And it's been Atlanta's day. 29-10. Doesn't get any bigger than this. This week, 4 of the nation's top teams face a must-win game to keep their championship hopes alive. The road to the college football playoffs goes through the Pac-12 championship and Big Ten championship. It's Friday and Saturday only on Fox and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
You know, Kevin, when you're talking about the Arizona Cardinals and their struggles here of late, quarterback Drew Stanton's who they have, and we've seen him play good football. So Bruce Arians, they got to go back to the drawing board, try to get him comfortable and confident again. But I think you've got to be bold like he's been all year. And I'm looking at this return game. Ted Ginn's been a tremendous returner throughout his career. He's not getting it done this year. Patrick Peterson, his rookie year, set this league on fire with 4 punt returns for touchdowns. I think things like that to put some juice in this team, they need it.
Yeah, Peterson, you asked him on the phone with him yesterday, hey, do you miss it? And he said, yeah. Yeah, I do, and he's made a couple of requests. Hey, can I get on back there? They're trying to protect him. Obviously, he's a tremendous player. They don't want him to get hurt. But at this point, when you need a spark from something, special teams is an area where, outside of their field goal kicking, they've struggled this year. He's going to let this one go. I mean, they're last in the league in kick returns. They're second to last in net punting. Now the remaining schedules. Seattle red hot on Arizona's tail, just beating them last week. They meet again in Arizona Week 16. San Francisco has a little bit of work to do. It's all division. I mean, this is tough. Arizona against Kansas City, who's playing great. They got Denver tonight. That Seattle-Philly matchup next week is fascinating.
That's supposed to be a 3. I flunked handwriting, but 9-3 now for Arizona. And Seattle Seahawks, Kevin, we were up there last week. That looked like that Super Bowl team from last year. They are back in my mind.
Arizona with 2:29 to go. Stanton over, incomplete. Let me ask you a question. I'm not suggesting there's any carryover whatsoever, but considering Stanton, the backup quarterback, slumping, considering Arizona hasn't scored in 2 3/4 games an offensive touchdown, they need to score here just at least to feel something good about themselves offensively.
I think oftentimes at the end of games and when it's likely over for them, but you try to get some confidence going into next week. I think it's real important for Drew Stanton to finish this game well. For a guy who's struggling with confidence, you want to do everything you can in your power to put some confidence in him before next week.
2nd down and 10. 4-man rush going over the middle. Good throw. And hits William Moore. Jerron Brown, tough as nails, makes the catch and gets right back up.
Tell you what, William Moore coming off the injured designated list with a broken clavicle and trying to break someone's clavicle. Big time hit, legal hit. Jerron Brown getting right back up.
2-minute warning now. I don't think they got the playoff, so we've hit the 2-minute break in Atlanta. All Falcons today hitting hard. Atlanta getting a balanced offensive attack today. First time they've had a 100-yard rusher in 35 games. Julio Jones has simply gone off. Harry Douglas, he's got 116 yards with Roddy White out injured today. Matt Ryan's played really well. Really well. We showed you 9 interceptions against these Cardinals last 2 years. 30 of 41, 361. Did have the 1 interception brought back to the house. And now the Cardinals just trying to score an offensive touchdown. Carlson going to get out of bounds.
Kevin, we just showed it, but I'm looking at Arizona, and the road doesn't get any easier. Kansas City at home next week. St. Louis, who won 52-0 today and playing really good football of late. Seattle and San Fran left on your schedule. It does not get any easier for Bruce Arians and the Arizona Cardinals.
No, that is. Hey, look, they got to play better. I think they know it. They hadn't lost back-to-back games in a long time. I think Atlanta has probably played their best game since week 1. Stanton firing. John Brown has the catch. And Kamal Ismail comes up and levels him, but Brown inside the 20 with 1:43 to go. And we get a timeout on the field. A 27-yard gain. Well, yeah, we were talking about Super Bowl with the Cardinals, and they're still in good position to do it. They just have to play better. It's happened before. Backup quarterbacks. Bradshaw didn't start out as a Steelers quarterback that year. Plunkett for the Raiders. Doug Williams, what a performance he had for the Redskins. Jeff Hostetler, when Sims got hurt, went all the way and won it all. And then Dofer with the Ravens. Tom Brady. You know, it's hard. Some of these guys are like, wait a second, but they didn't start as a starter. Mo Lewis injured Drew Bledsoe, so Brady came in. The bottom line is, we're telling you, if you're a Cardinals fan, it may look ugly today, but it has happened. The backup quarterbacks have won the Super Bowl before, and they're in a slump right now, that's for sure.
Perhaps, Kevin, you know, you talked about, is it important for Drew Stanton to finish well? A couple good throws on this drive, and maybe that gives some confidence going into Kansas City next week.
It's the first time that Arizona's even in the red zone today. Even in the red zone, John. First down. Stanton, go far side. He's got a catch to Brown down to the 15-yard line. You know, wonder how much does one game change perception. The Falcons are going to go to 5-7. They're going to be in first place, virtue of a tiebreaker over the Saints. They've got Green Bay next, who's had a dogfight with New England right now, up by 2 in the 4th. They've done a lot of things better than they have in a long time today. Brown again makes the catch. 1st and goal, Arizona is trying to get an offensive touchdown. It's something to build on during the week of practice. Stanton lines him up. Looking end zone, throws, he's got it. Touchdown, Stephon Taylor. So finally, for the first time since the beginning of the Detroit game 3 games ago, Arizona has scored on offense. And Drew Stanton made some nice throws on that drive, culminating to Taylor.
It's been a while, and Bruce Arians going to keep his offense out there to go for 2 to make this an 11-point game. Well, that shows you, I mean, that drive, and granted, Atlanta backs off a little and plays a little more loose on their coverage, but good throws right there. He's capable of doing it. I've seen it. We've seen it. Just hasn't been there the last couple weeks for Drew Stanton.
And look, Larry Fitzgerald gets healthy. That will make a world of difference. Make no mistake. The dynamic, how it changes without him. They just hope that Ellington's okay. Stanton now in the two-point conversion, incomplete. And we get a flag. Get a flag on the play.
It wasn't a smart play by McClain there.
Pass interference. Defense number 27. Half minutes to the goal. Replay the try.
So they'll try the two-point conversion again.
This is on the backside. He's looking on the other side to get John Brown, but then he comes backside, and McClain, this ball clearly overthrown, but definitely makes contact with Jerron Brown.
Stephon Taylor in the backfield. John Brown wide up bottom of the screen. Here's Taylor up the middle. He's got the two-point conversion. So it's 29-18 Falcons with 1:05 to play from Atlanta. Well, if you're looking for hard-hitting championship caliber fights, tune to Fox. Former UFC heavyweight champ Junior Dos Santos takes on fourth-ranked Stipe Miocic in what should be an epic bout. Full weekend of UFC action begins Friday, December 12th with The Ultimate Fighter. That's the finale on Fox Sports 1, where a champion will be crowned. It continues too on Saturday, December 13th with UFC Fight Night on Fox. Arthur Blank, Falcons owner. You know, there's been so much discussion about Mike Smith, who has been here for 7 years, done a lot of things with this Falcon team, taken to the playoffs, won the division twice, #1 seed, 10 yards away from a Super Bowl, and you know about his job. And I think it's nice to see his team respond today. Onside kick time. Catanzaro, good onside kick. High up there, Harry Douglas recovers. That's your ball game. With 1:04 to go, Falcons will sit on it and leave this place happy, where the Cardinals will hop on a flight and try and figure out what's going on with their offense.
Kevin, you mentioned that, you know, I think a really good point and a poignant one. Mike Smith's players love him. We talked to Matt Ryan this week, and last week he owned up to a mistake, and it was a mistake. It was poor clock management at the end of that Cleveland game. But rather than hide, he went out to the media and he said, "Put that one on me. I need to be better." That falls on the head coach. Players respect that, because players get called out when things don't go well. Well, Mike Smith called himself out, and players feel that. And I think they've responded incredibly well to that gesture by Mike Smith today.
Matt Ryan said to us, John, "I couldn't be more of a Mike Smith supporter. I feel like we've got to make him right." They did that today.
And the question is, moving forward, there's Arthur Blank, going to be a happy man. Do they have enough juice to bring this home? This NFC South wide open still. They're on top. They have some holes on this roster, but they responded today and played exceptional football.
And so the Atlanta Falcons, with a win today, remain in first place in the NFC South, tied with the Saints. So they've got a tiebreaker, and they'll meet in Week 16, which will clearly be a big game. Bruce Arians' Cardinals still 9-3, still in first place in the NFC West, but losers of 2 in a row for the first time in a long time, and some things to figure out on offense. But today belonged to the Atlanta Falcons. It was their day in every facet of it. 29-18, they take down the Cardinals. Julio Jones was a monster today, and the Falcons get a big win. They remain in first. Cardinals go home losers. Falcons victor. We've got more from the Georgia Dome when we come back.